I just wanted to walk down and show you the first site for a meditation hut. And you might be wondering why I needed to build a meditation hut. I mean, there's this cabin here. This is what was here when I bought the property. And it's quite good. It's a really pleasant cabin. That's where the shower is, a kitchen, a fridge and that sort of thing. But when this place is actually running as a meditation retreat, then that's going to be the sort of place that people congregate and have cups of tea and things like that. And so when you're meditating, what you need is somewhere on your own, a little bit isolated from the main group. I mean, in our meditation in Erin, then we all had our own little rooms, 9 by 9 feet or something like that, quite small. But then we didn't sleep in a bed, so you didn't need so much space. Just slept in our meditation box. So this is the path going down. And I've selected a few sites, preliminary sites, for building meditation huts. It's not like they're miles away. A little bit cut off, so you can just sit on your own and meditate and not be disturbed by anybody. In general, what it's taught in the Buddha Dharma is that it's quite difficult to be meditating as somebody on their own, going solo, like off in the mountains. Of course, Milarepa did that. But in general, it's quite difficult having no support. We need a certain amount of support. But then if there's too many people, it becomes a problem, because there's too many sort of causes for arguments, but also distraction. What they say is, 1, it's too difficult. 2, then there are problems. Because if there's only 2 people, then you can fall to extreme attachment, or you can fall out with each other. You can become bitter enemies. So they say generally that it's about 3, 4, 5 people is ideal for a retreat. But many of these spiritual communities, then they have, hundreds of people, quite a lot. So this is one of the spots for a meditation hut. There's not a lot of level ground here, but it's nice in that it's isolated in the middle of the forest. And the other day we built a path. Path goes around the whole retreat area. It's called a kora in Tibetan. It's a circumambulation, circular path. The idea is that you always go in a right-hand direction, following the direction that the sun goes. When I say that, that's if you were to look at a sundial, then the sun or the shadow would go around in a clockwise direction. We managed to pull some trees out and clean up the workshop quite a lot. I have to clean up the workshop because I need the space to be able to start building the components for a meditation hut. And luckily there was actually enough timber there to build one hut. That was left over from the previous owner. So it's all kind of like machine, factory-made timber, pine and treated wood. But I'd like to use up whatever resources there are here and then not buy anything new in. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of trees, right? So really, the idea is that I use the resources in the forest as much as possible. Should be able to build most things, 75% out of what's here, by milling my own lumber, etc. We'll have to buy materials for roofing and also water pipes probably. And then in future, then when the buildings rot and there's nothing left, then basically it all returns back to the earth. And to me that's really important. In fact, today we just took a whole truckload of stuff that had belonged to somebody who lived here about 15 years ago. Actually, he died here. He died here in kind of strange circumstances. Some people say it was suicide. But so since then, this place has been basically a ghost house. Nobody living here. And it'd be nice to breathe some life back into the place. And especially if there's people here meditating, then that would be really, really good. There's another location for a meditation hut going off down the other side here. We'll just walk down. The only footprints you see here are deer prints, which is quite nice. There are quite a lot of deer, and there's also bears and cougars, but they're too shy really to come to this area. You won't see bears and cougars here. I mean, it is possible. It's mostly deer and that sort of thing. Lots of squirrels and rats as well. You get lots of rats in British Columbia. But I guess it's their place. They've been living here. There's been no humans living here for years. This is a place where I recorded some videos previously. It's a very nice spot for meditation because there's some large boulders here that just look over the forest. This would be a nice place for a meditation hut. You can see these large boulders here. It's one of my favorite places to meditate. It's all a bit wet now. It's been raining for ages and the snow is melting. Really, when it comes down to it, we should be able to meditate anywhere. You know, there's nothing wrong with meditating in your apartment, in your city, wherever you live. But because we're kind of beginners, then we need somewhere quiet. And there's another thing, is that when you have places where people have been meditating for years, then there's a kind of like vibe or energy about the place. And people are kind of naturally tranquil and calm. And that adds a kind of quality to the environment. And it's those qualities that are so beneficial to your meditation. Because it's not easy just staying put and meditating all day long. In the modern world, then the problem is there's so much advertising. We're stimulated so much. And when we see pictures of beautiful things and wonderful kind of holiday destinations, then the mind starts immediately fabricating a story. This story of, wouldn't it be nice if I could do that? Wouldn't it be nice if I could buy that? And so when you're somewhere where there's only wild animals and trees, then it's a lot easier for you to achieve a kind of samadhi, this meditative equipoise. It's a really important point. And so a lot of people in the West, what they try to do is they try to go out and work their day job and then practice at home, let's say, 2 or 3 hours a day. And that's wonderful. It's great. Karma Dorje, he works half of the year in Alberta in fire watch. There's lots of fires in Alberta, in Canada, every year. So they've got watchtowers. So he goes there and makes some money in the summer. And it's a quiet place, right? It's the middle of nowhere. So he hasn't got much to do. He can meditate. And then winter, he finds somewhere like this where he can just shuck up and get on with his practice. So what I was saying is that, yes, that's a good thing. Try to balance your everyday work life with your practice. But there's a problem associated with that. And that's because when you're at work, then there's these circumstances for you to give rise to anger and desire, Even just going into the coffee room, seeing a box of donuts can get your desire going. Of course, we need to work with our desire, but also we need to develop samadhi, right? Mental equipoise. We have to become familiar with what that is like. What is this naked awareness, this mere resting in our meditative object. And it's difficult if every day, in order to go to work, you have to drive down the freeway, you know, you see all the advertising. Just when you go down the street in Canada, you can see 10 different types of restaurants. So that immediately gets your mind going. Maybe I should have Mexican today. Maybe I could have sushi, that sort of thing. And so basically we're never allowed to rest. Our senses are always being drawn outwards to the objects of our desire. So when you're somewhere like this, then there's no chance for you to give rise to this craving and clinging to such a great extent. And then you've got a bit more space mentally in order to kind of rest and achieve equilibrium. Well, I've got to catch the ferry, so I better not be late. I have to go. I just wanted to show you around the land a little bit so you can see what's going on. I've got to go back and look after my parents, so I better hit the road. So, see you later.